Welcome, everybody. It's time to start cruising into a better financial future with your host, Kim Cruz. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cruising into a Better Financial Future with your host, Kim Cruz.
Thank you, Adam. Yes, I am Kim Cruz, a wife, a mom, a daughter, sister, friend, entrepreneur, and business owner of Cruz Credit Consulting, but not necessarily in that order. I have over 30 years experience in corporate America and a passion for helping people succeed in all areas of their life. I am joined by my friend, Adam Strum. He is the brains behind this production. He is a former corporate executive, the owner of Financial Rescuers, and co-owner of U.S. Financial Alliance, with over 20 years experience of helping people get out of debt and improve their financial health. Together, we review our listeners' financial problems and address them with our experience, tips, tricks, and resources of network referrals to help you cruise into a better financial future.
That is such a mouthful. I say it every week. Thank you for the kind introduction. Glad to be here this week, and it's just you and me this week.
Yep,
We're not going to have a
just you and
guest.
me.
We're going to talk about something that's near and dear to your heart and that I refer people to literally every day.
Yep.
Our topic for the day is going to be credit repair and fixing your credit, whether it be yourself or with a specialist like yourself who does
Mm-hmm.
credit repair. But first, we're going to start with our news story of the week. It's a real simple one, but it comes at a time when we're all so over the COVID-19 scare, and yet it's at its worst it's been since it began. And these are not political things, and I don't know how they ever got to be political things, but it's just a fact. We have an average of 3,200 people a day dying over the past month, every single day. That's more people than died on 9/11. We are at the worst point of the pandemic, and the IRS is taking this into account. Our news story
Mm-hmm.
of the day is the fact that instead of January 15th, which is the traditional beginning of tax season, when you start receiving your W-4s and W-2s and W-9s and all that other wonderful stuff,
Right.
moved it up to February 12th to give extra time because businesses are short staffed due to people in quarantine. A lot of people working from home, which means that getting the message to them is not as easy as walking down the hall and saying, "Hey, John, print up the W-4s." It's not so simple right now, and so the IRS took into account the fact that we're in the heated center of the pandemic right now, and
Mm-hmm.
they've pretty much given an extra month to get started. And the odds are they're also going to extend the April 15th deadline based on that. They haven't actually said that yet, but they did it last year, and I'm sure they're going to do it again this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's our news topic. Go ahead, run with
Well,
it.
interesting that, well, I guess it's good that they're taking into consideration. What did they move it back to last year? Last
Well,
year.
last year it ended up being July 15th when all was said and done. They
Okay.
moved it up twice. They were hoping that things would be under control, so they had moved it from April 15th to May 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And then from May
And then,
20th, things were worse, not better than they were in April. And they said, look, let's just make it July 15th.
that's
And
right.
they couldn't
Okay.
change it again. So they left it at July 15th,
Mm-hmm.
which is the normal date for the extension if you file one. They
Right.
normally give you from April to July 15th if you file an extension. And if you have to file a second, it then goes to October 15th.
October 15th.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, normal extensions. Now, we're not tax experts, and nothing in today's show or any of our shows construes tax advice or legal advice. We are not lawyers. We are not accountants. I do know a lot about accounting, as does Kim, but we're not actual licensed accountants. So, therefore, nothing we say should be taken as legal or accounting advice. We are professionals, however, in the debt and credit industry, and we are experts in the debt and credit industries. And so that is why you're probably watching us today, and we're glad to have you with us.
Exactly. And thank you for getting those legalese out of the way. We always have to include that in every episode. Just
Disclaimer.
exactly. Yeah. So thanks for taking care of that. We have a great topic today. I'm super excited about it. So
New
many
pivot.
people ask about, yep, pivot there, credit repair. and what is credit repair? What does it entail? We have great questions. But the main thing that I like to tell my clients is that you need credit before you need credit. And a lot of people don't understand that, but it falls under this credit repair umbrella of needing or having credit before you need credit. So that's one of my biggest missions, is to make sure everybody and anybody that I know has their credit under control. So what's
Well,
your 2 cents on this whole topic today?
I'm going to give a nickel today. All right. So the first thing is, for many, many, many years, your credit report was secret. It was not possible for you to view your credit report. Now, we're talking from the 60s all the way up until about 10 years ago. People had no clue what was on their credit report. You're allowed to share pertinent information only. Why is it such a big secret? Here's why. 78%. 78%. That's nearly 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 credit reports have errors on them. 8 out of 10. That's
Exactly.
insane.
Mm-hmm.
And getting them corrected, it's easier to perform your own surgery. Because here's the problem. We talked about this. We touched on it very briefly in a couple of other episodes, but
Mm-hmm.
Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, we are their product. All of us, every citizen is their product. And they
Yes.
sell us their product to big businesses that want to give us credit.
Mm-hmm.
Not just banks, home repair companies, dealerships, loan companies. Everyone that's going to make a decision based on your credit buys our names from these three credit bureaus,
Right.
because they want people with good credit. And you can go
Mm-hmm.
on to Experian and see for yourself. Just say, I want to know who has a 680 credit score or above in this zip code, and you can buy those names.
Right.
That's how they stay in business. They're private
Mm-hmm.
enterprises. They are not government run. They are private businesses. And they are three of the biggest corporations in America.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, it's still private. And people are going to yell at me. But I have Credit Karma. I can see my credit report. I have CreditWise. I know everything there is to know. No, not even close. If you ran a mortgage broker's credit report and your CreditWise, Credit Sesame, or Credit Karma report,
Mm-hmm.
it would look like the difference between a Dodge Ram and a Matchbox car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a Dodge Ram is very big and a Matchbox car is very small. What you get from Credit Karma is not complete, number one,
Mm-hmm.
and it is usually at least 30 to 60 days old, number two. What you get on a mortgage broker report is up to the minute.
Right.
Literally, if a change happened this morning, it's on there.
Yep. And they're going to know about it.
Yep. Going back to credit repair, to fix them yourself is possible. It's also possible to fix your plane engine yourself or your car engine yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Should you? Probably not.
Why not?
But can you? Maybe, maybe not. It all
Mm-hmm.
depends. If you know your way around an engine, great. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
don't, the odds are that your fix is going to make things worse.
Mm-hmm.
The same applies with credit repair.
Right.
And this is why the government, believe it or not, is so amped up to stop credit repair from happening, because they know that experts are going to find ways to inform their clients of what's actually on their credit reports, which, like I said, even today with Credit Karma, CreditWise, and Credit Sesame, is still a big secret.
Yes. Yes. There's so many secrets in the whole credit industry. But the bottom line is that this isn't taught in school. Nobody knows matters of credit. And that's why I'm working on a project that I will be teaching this to high school seniors, because it's something that they need in order to have a better financial future. And I've mentioned this in many episodes, that the clients that come to me, when we fix whatever issue they're having, they openly tell me, I didn't know this until I was in this financial crisis. So both of us have a mission to teach financial literacy and let people
And both of
know
us are doing
these.
it. Both of us have been invited many times to many different outlets in order to
Mhm,
give what they call speeches.
mhm.
Um, and I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy the questions more than I
I do
enjoy the
too.
speech. Speech giving is easy as far as I'm concerned. You're just talking about what you know about.
Mhm,
It's when they hit you with questions and they really are testing whether or not you know your stuff and whether you can give them a solid answer. That's my favorite part of getting in front of an audience is
mhm.
the Q&A at the end of my speech
Right.
and the moderation of it all. But let's not get off on speech giving. Let's get back onto this because this is really important stuff. So today we have 5 questions.
Mhm.
It was hard to pick 5 out of the literally hundreds of thousands of questions that we get about credit and credit repair, but I wanted the questions to be from the industry itself, all about the industry itself, because the Consumer Protection Bureau, the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the government are trying to legislate credit repair and debt relief out of business because the banks hate us. The
Right.
banks hate
Yep,
us because we
they do.
empower people to take a stand against them.
Exactly.
Now,
Yep.
that being said, we're going to get lots of horrible reviews for this video because the banks control most everything in America.
But we are giving valuable information.
And that
So, and I
information
love these
will not
questions.
be silenced. Okay,
No,
that information will be given. So, Kim, I'm going to hit you with the very first question, and it comes from Dawn down in Alabama. And she says, "Why do I need a credit repair specialist for something that I can do myself?"
I get that question every single day, as I'm sure you do as well. And one of the first responses to my clients that tell me that, my response is, well, why haven't you? So you didn't get to this credit situation yesterday. This has been something that's been brewing for a while. So why didn't you do it earlier? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know what you're looking for? There's definitely a consultation that has to go on with what an individual situation is. Credit, I also have a lot of clients that come to me and tell me, I need credit repair because my FICO score is in the low 500s. Okay, well, why is it in the low 500s? It's in the low 500s because I can't make my payments. Well, if you can't make your payments and you want to increase your credit score,
Wow.
credit repair is not for you. So it really depends on the situation and the how you're going to deal with one negative item on your credit report isn't necessarily the same way you're going to deal with another negative item on your credit report. So you really do need a specialist that is familiar with this. Also, a credit specialist is more familiar with how the lenders are going to respond to credit repair. So um, it's definitely wise to at least consult with a credit repair specialist. And I have many clients that will come to me and maybe they have one item that they need assistance with. And it's not necessarily something that they have to pay me for. I will tell them how to do this. So, and I am unlike many other specialists that charge for consultations, just let's review your unique situation and get you on a game plan to increase your credit to where it needs to be. Let's get you into the 700 club because you have so many more financial options when we get you into that position.
I couldn't agree more. Just so everyone knows, Cruise Credit Consulting and Kim herself is part of the USFA family. Now, the USFA family, US Financial Alliance, is an alliance of about 28 companies at this point, and we have our own ethical um, code, so to speak. And in that code, it's we don't charge people for things that don't require us to do the work that the title falls under. So you were just saying something really important there. If they have one item and it's a simple dispute letter and that's it, and you know it's going to get taken off because it's 12 years old and should have fallen off naturally 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
um, you're going to tell them how to write that letter and where to send it, and you're not going to charge them anything. because
Exactly.
you're not doing any of the real work. You're not typing up dispute letters and following them up and making sure that
Right.
30 days later you send a second one, because otherwise they don't take the first one seriously. And, I happen to know that the sequence of events for credit, I
Yep.
don't do credit repair. That I
Mhm.
farm out to you and to our friend Kiana, who's going to be a
Kiana.
guest in the near future,
Yep.
and others, other members of the FES family, other members
Mhm.
of the, there's like 7 major firms for credit repair out there.
Yep.
And I farm that out because it's not something that's my specialty. My specialty is fighting with the banks about what they've done wrong.
Mhm.
And unfair credit reporting falls to the legal category or the credit repair specialist category. Either
Mhm.
you're suing for FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act violations, or you're just getting it fixed, one or the
Right.
other.
Right.
That all being said, and I say that being said a lot, and I know I do, I've already been called out on it by several people. So I'm going to start changing it up a little. In addition, um, just to be fun and fair,
Now then.
exactly. You don't know you need credit till you need credit. You say that all the time. You need credit before you need credit, because when the time comes that you're going to need it, you should already be prepared.
Right.
The same goes for credit repair. You don't know you need credit repair till you get an honest look at your whole credit picture. Now, you were trying to say something, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna state it outright. Credit reports are like fingerprints.
Mhm.
No two are identical.
Right.
They can be
Mhm.
really close, but they're not identical. And I went through this way back in our very first episode talking about bankruptcy of all things. But I
Yes.
went through, Bob and Rob,
The twin brothers.
the
Yep.
twin brothers. Yep. And everything about them is identical. Every single thing. Identical amount of debt, identical this, and they settle for different amounts. Well, guess what? The credit reports will look different as well.
Mhm.
Even though they have the same creditors and same balances, it doesn't mean they're calculated identically in all 3 bureaus. Again, that algorithm that calculates may say, well, Rob's eyebrow has 1 less hair and he has 10 points less on his credit report. We have no idea because it's proprietary information, but
Mhm.
I have seen it where everything should be identical and it's not.
Right. Yep.
All right. So that's where I stand on that. Why do you need a
Ooh.
specialist? Because a specialist is going to be able to do things more organized, faster, with more accuracy than you will be able to yourself. Not to mention that you're emotionally attached to the issue. You want your credit cleaned as quick as possible. You're likely to either lose your temper or yell at Experian because they are exasperating, or Equifax or TransUnion because they're not listening to you. When you go to someone like Kim, a third party, she has no vested
Right.
emotional interest in your debt. Her only interest is getting the negative things that shouldn't be there off of your report. So
Mhm.
she's not going to fight using emotion. She's going to fight using law,
Mhm.
using the rules of the game to get them to remove it instead of them facing a $10,000 fine under FCRA. And
Mhm.
I know Kim's legal team because it's also my legal team. She would go to the same people I would go to, and they will sue, and they have successfully sued creditors for placing improper things on your report.
Mhm. Exactly. And not only that, while you're going through the situation, I do have credit attorneys at our disposal that can help our clients when collectors are acting out of line, acting illegally, making the harassing phone calls. We know that that's going to happen during a credit repair situation. So we do have those resources available as well.
I have one that happened today. 3
Really?
weeks ago, one of my clients settled two, and I'm going to name the bank. We settled two American Express accounts
Uh-huh.
for a lot of money. He
Hmm.
owed about 38,000. We paid about 18,000.
Okay.
He paid it off, two cards,
Hmm.
all at the same time. And then he went and looked at his credit report 30 days later. And
Hmm.
one of the two cards says settled, and the other one's now, instead of collection, it says charge off, which is
Oh.
worse. He
Hmm.
lost 70 points on his credit score, and he cannot comprehend why it is saying
Hmm.
charge off when he paid them so much money.
Hmm.
Well, I've informed him this is going to that legal team because this is an example of unfair credit reporting. and
Mhm.
damage has been done. A 70-point drop in your credit score is very damaging if you're trying to get a car, which he is trying to do.
Exactly. Yes. And we know that it goes down much faster than it can come up. So now that
It's like
he's
the
recognized
stock
it,
market. It's just like the stock market.
yes,
If you drop 100 points, you're going to need to do 200 points of work to get back to where you were.
yes,
It's
yep.
twice as hard to go up as it is to go down. All
Mhm.
right. I think you're going to throw question two at me, and I'm not the credit repair expert, but I'll do my best.
I think you'll be good at this one. This is Jazz in Kentucky. What is the average increase in score if I use a credit repair company?
Okay, Jazz, that is an excellent question. And I do actually know a little bit about the answer to this. Now, keep in mind, there are a lot of companies out there, and some of you know the big names like Lexington Law
Yep.
or creditrepair.com, which is all over TV and radio recently. The average amount of points that you're going to get back it depends, is the first thing I'm going to say, because you may have there may have been an identity theft issue and almost everything on your report is wrong,
Mhm.
but that's rare. The average, the norm, is that you're going to gain somewhere between 30 and 75 points on your credit score if you go through a professional credit repair person, because they're going to look not just at the improper accounts that shouldn't even be on your report, but they're going to look deeper than that. They're going to look for, hey, they called this a late payment. Do you remember what this was about? And you'll say something like, oh yeah, it was like 2 days late. Well, they didn't honor their own 5-day grace period. And you're going to send off a letter saying, hey, that late shouldn't be a late. You have a 5-day grace period. You're going to correct little things that actually will give an extra 5 and 10 points. So that's the average. The average score increase that a person sees in a 6-month credit repair program, and that's the average length for the shortest credit repair programs, is 6 months. You have to understand, anyone who promises you, oh, pay me $1,000 by next week, you'll have an 850 credit score, is someone you need to call the police on immediately. They're scamming you.
Yes.
But here's the fun part. They're scamming you very insidiously, because a week later, you will have an 850 credit score. And 2 weeks later, you'll have a 490 credit score. What they're doing is not proper credit repair. And a lot of them have gotten in a lot of trouble. In fact, it's pretty much banned the credit repair industry from getting into the state of Georgia because of that type of work. It's called
Mhm.
rapid rescore, and it is a scam. There's no
Mhm.
such thing as a rapid rescore. There are proper channels to follow, and if you follow the proper channels, everything goes exactly the way it's supposed to. I'll let you continue from here, but that's my answer, is between 30 and 75 points is the average increase in score for most people.
And that is what my record pretty much holds true to, anywhere from 30 to 75 points. I don't like giving specific numbers because everyone's situation is unique. If you're removing one item off of, or working on one item on somebody's credit report, that one item might not be worth 100 points. So I can't tell you, oh, we'll get you up 100 points within 30 days. That's just not realistic. So if somebody is telling you that you are going to see a dramatic increase within 30 days, that's not accurate. Is it possible? Maybe, but I'm not going to set myself up or my client up for those expectations.
No, they're
Um,
unreasonable. 20 points is reasonable to expect for one correction on average. But again, it's just an average. There's no telling, there's no way to, just like with debt relief, there's no way to specifically say, I'm going to remove X and this way your score will go up Y.
mhm,
That's not how it
mhm,
works. The domino effect can happen. So removing X may only give you 10 points,
right.
or it may give you that 100 points because X may have been affecting 3 other things. And now they all fall into line, and all of a sudden the stars align, and the light lights up, and the auto dealers are calling you, asking you, please take our car at 0% interest. Don't make your first payment for 8 years. We're good. You have a great credit score. Just take the stuff, please.
And I love the fact that you brought up the rapid rescore. Um,
Oh, how
yeah,
I hate that.
you're absolutely right, because I have a couple of clients that have bought into the idea of the rapid rescore, And 2 months later, they're calling me and saying I paid X amount of dollars to get this rapid rescore because I'm in the middle of buying a home and I needed my credit score to be up. But by the time you're closing escrow, that's not what your credit score is going to be. And
Exactly. And it
so,
takes 90 days on most escrows to get to closing. All right, Kim, let's play a quick little game. Let's have some
okay,
fun.
okay, let's go.
We're gonna go back and forth here.
Okay,
All right. I know this is not in the questions because I've seen the questions, but Jazz's question leads us to how to tell if a credit repair specialist that you're talking with is
mhm,
legitimate or if
mhm.
they're scamming you. So, what we're going to do is you're going to go first and you're going to give a way to tell if a credit repair specialist is scamming you. And then I'll go and we'll keep going till we run out.
Okay. So, um, if a credit repair specialist tells you that they can increase your credit score by X number of points within 30 days, that's a scam. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if they tell you they're going to increase it 10 points or 100 points. They should not be guaranteeing you any type of numerical increase in any specified time.
Okay. My turn. Your credit repair specialist is a scam artist if they tell you they can remove an item from your credit report that is legitimate.
Bingo. Ding, ding, ding. That's
If it's supposed to be on there, it's going to be on there. Can they get
yes.
it off? Yeah, they can get it off for a week or two, and then the bank that holds the debt is going to re-report it, and it's going to be back on there.
Mhm.
So you're being scammed if they tell you they can get rid of that Chase card that you were late 9 times with.
Yes.
So if someone tells you they can get rid of something from your credit report that's supposed to be on your credit report, scam artist, run the other way. Your
Mhm.
turn.
Stop making all of your payments while you're going through credit repair.
Yeah,
How many
I've
times have
only
you
heard
heard
that a
that?
couple of times. Well, they say that because they know in debt relief that's the case. We don't actually tell our clients to stop paying because that's illegal.
Right.
Anytime someone tells you don't pay your creditors, that's illegal unless
Mhm.
it's a lawyer filing a bankruptcy.
Right.
That's the only exception to that rule. But anyone else who tells you stop paying your creditors directly, and I mean directly because I'm about to tell you the indirect way, which is perfectly legal, but directly tells you to stop paying your creditors, yeah, definitely a scam artist. The indirect method in debt relief, when we're speaking to someone after we've gone through qualifying them and making sure that what they have is debt relief viable and everything else, because we don't take on a client we can't help. It's just we refuse to take on a client that we can't get results for.
As do I. Yep.
Right. But that being said, I then tell them you have to make a choice. Now, you can choose to stop paying your creditors and we will pick up the ball and we will settle your debt for you. Or you can choose to continue paying your creditors, but we're not going to be able to help you with settling your debt because they will not settle debts that are being paid on time.
Mhm.
So again, I'm not telling them not to pay their creditors. I'm telling them they have to make a choice. If they stop trying, because most of them are not able to pay all their creditors, but if they stop trying to catch up and they just hold where they are, we will gladly pick up the ball, defend them against lawsuits, et cetera, et cetera. The whole debt relief
Mhm.
thing. We went through that with Tom Duty in that
Yep.
episode. Um, but we can't tell them not to pay their creditors. That's illegal.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So throw out another one.
It's my turn.
Your turn.
If you're in the state of Georgia and somebody is telling you that they're going to do credit repair for you, run. It's pretty much illegal in the state of Georgia to do credit repair.
Mhm.
It's illegal to
Mhm.
advertise it in the state of
Mhm.
Georgia.
Mhm.
Your
Yep.
turn.
That's a good one. Let's see. Um, what's another one? What's another one?
I still have a
Um,
couple.
mm, Trying to think of what I've heard recently from my clients. Um, we already went over um, well, it would be an upfront fee for a guaranteed. You give me $5,000, I guarantee I will get your credit score into the 800s. There's another one.
Yeah, the method behind that, by the way, is creating a business profile for a person. That's how they do that. And it's illegal, it's fraud. And not only can the credit repair person get in trouble, but you for allowing them to do it with your name can actually face fraud charges. So yeah, be very, very aware of that. That is crazy. How about this one? If they tell you that they want you to pay them a monthly fee for an indefinite period of time in order to get your credit repair done, run, stay away. Programs are set into qualifiers. There's immediate programs, which I don't believe in. There are 3-month, 6-month, 12-month programs on average
Mm-hmm.
throughout the credit repair industry. And there is a time frame, we know, because by law, the credit bureaus must respond in a certain period of time to each challenge on anything. And so there's no reason, like, for instance, Lexington Law has I know someone who's been in Lexington Law's credit repair program for 7 years. I mean, if it takes 7 years, you could have already had everything drop off. There's no need for credit repair.
Exactly. Right. Yes.
So there you go. If they can't give you a specific amount of time, and you can always re-up for more, if it's working for you and you find it valuable, you could do 3 months and then say, hey, 2 things out of 4 came off. Let me do another 3-month, another round of 3 months. That's what most credit repair specialists want. They want you to
Mm-hmm.
see results and come back and say, I want more results,
Mm-hmm.
because that's
Mm-hmm.
what it's about. It's about seeing it work before you pay a lot of money.
Right. Yep. This was a great exercise.
Do you have another
Let's see.
one, or are you out?
I'm let's hear yours. Let's hear your next.
My next one: if a credit repair specialist tells you to fill out a business application or a TIN application or an EIN application, hang up, walk away, get out of their office, get in a cab, call an Uber. You don't want to be there.
Correct. Yep.
If a credit repair specialist tells you that they know someone at the credit bureaus, they're scamming you. Even
Mm-hmm.
if they do know somebody at the credit bureaus, that should never be in the sales pitch, because that implies that something illegal is going to happen. That's pretty much it. We've
I have
covered
one
everything.
more.
Go ahead.
One more that I actually heard somebody tell them that they could get them a new social security number and start over.
Yeah. Isn't that what they do in all those crime drama movies?
New secret identity. Here's your new social.
Unless you're entering WITSEC, which is witness protection, you shouldn't be getting a new social security number.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
All right, Jazz, we hope we answered your question really thoroughly there. And if you ever need more advice, feel free to call us. Our number will be down below in the comments section, along with our email. You can email, you can call Kim, you can call me. And believe it or not, we will take your call.
Yep.
Not one of our underlings. We will
We
take your
will take the
call.
call. Yep. Freely
I'll be
give our
happy
phone
to
numbers
speak
out.
to anyone who wants to call USFA, or anyone who wants to call Cruise Credit Consulting. And I know, because I've taken up a lot of Kim's time on the phone, and I know clients who have too, and she knows clients who take me on 90-minute adventures.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. All right, so question 3 is for you, Kim. You ready?
Yeah. We
I'm
kind of
going to read
covered
this
it, but
one.
let's address her.
Well, we touched on it, but
Yep.
now you'll be able to really explain it. So Denise in Virginia. I hope she's near Virginia Beach. It's so beautiful there. Denise in Virginia, how long does credit repair take?
That's an excellent question, because people will come to me and they'll ask me, okay, how long am I going to be in this program? Well, it depends on what we're working on. It depends on your situation. It depends on what we're trying to accomplish. So like you had mentioned, 6 months is a good target, but I've had clients that have repaired their credit within 30 days. It just depends on the situation. So I tell my clients, expect at least 90 days for some type of change to happen on your credit report.
Makes perfect sense. I mean, just to take some of the mystery out of it, in order to fix something on a credit report requires what's called by the credit bureaus a dispute.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is telling them that X is right, and now you're trying to tell them that X is wrong. The initial dispute opens a case. I'm gonna take all the fog out of credit repair for people right here. So you go to Kim. and you tell her, hey, look, I've never had a J.C. Penney card, but they have a J.C. Penney card on my account. And I called and I checked, and there's no J.C. Penney card under my social at J.C. Penney. So it's not identity theft. They're just misreporting it. Are you able to get that off? And Kim will say, of course. Now, I can't guarantee how fast it'll come off, but I know I can get that removed. And so an initial dispute letter explaining the circumstance goes out. And Experian and TransUnion and Equifax received this dispute letter of Kim stating that this account does not belong to this person. And if they were to check the social security numbers on the account, they'll see that they don't match. Now, the credit bureaus will receive this dispute and they will look into it very briefly. They have to, or they can be fined a lot of money. And then they're going to do the more important thing. They're going to send what's called an alert. And that alert's going to go to JCPenney, and it's going to be respond within X amount of time, or we will not be able to keep this on the report. So they have a certain amount of time, usually it's a week, to respond to this alert email.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, in first disputes, and Kim knows this, he's going to smile ear to ear here. In first disputes, JCPenney or any bank or any credit lender, they don't want to be bothered by these alerts. It's a waste of time for them most of the time.
Mhm.
So they're just going to say, well, default is we're right. We're always right. So therefore we're right. And they're going to tell the credit bureau, yeah, we confirm that it is the right social. We have the right person. It's incredibly rare that a first dispute letter is going to make the change. The second dispute letter is usually accompanied by proof, because then the credit bureau can go back and spank whoever gave them this, this improper thing. So that's what it is. It's two dispute letters. Now, dispute cycles are 15 days. You can get to 2 in 30 days if you really wanted to. That doesn't happen often, though. So 30 to 60 days is the reasonable amount of time to get one of these done. 90 days is so that we can also see what effect getting it done has and see if anything else needs to be aligned. This is why Kim says the average she'll quote somebody is a minimum of 90 days.
At least, yep.
Just to see something happen and to know that you've gotten your money's worth on your credit repair.
Mhm.
And then another 90 days can be done for more if you want more, or multiple disputes, or there are multiple accounts that are having correct information on them. So that's how that works. How long does it take? It takes anywhere from 1 hour to 1 year, depending on the exact circumstance. That's my answer. And you can't be more specific. If they're being more specific, it goes back to the game Kim and I played. You're kind of being scammed if they're being specific, because no one knows for sure how fast JCPenney will respond to the dispute.
Mhm.
Therefore, there's no way to tell you. It'll be done by Tuesday.
Mhm. And especially if they have not taken a look at your credit report. If the consultant hasn't taken a look at your credit report, whatever they tell you is misleading. So a thorough investigation of your credit report and the whole picture needs to be reviewed before giving you any information.
Yes, people overlook a lot of things on credit reports because they don't understand all the information that's there. I mean, we all know that your credit cards and your loan accounts and everything are listed on your credit report. Everybody knows that. And we all know that it has a history of up to 36 months that they show right there on the page. And there are little green dots and red dots for the missed payments and made payments.
Mhm.
But also on every one of those accounts, there's about 14 pieces of information that a credit repair specialist or a debt relief specialist or anyone that works in credit, we're looking at things you don't see. We're
Exactly.
looking at DLA, date of
Mhm.
last activity.
Yep.
We're looking at DTI, debt to income ratio, because that's going to matter in improving your score.
Right.
We're looking at LTV, loan to value. If
Mhm.
you're someone who's trying to do this to get a mortgage, is this going to increase your LTV? If it's not, why bother? Why would you
Right.
pay money to do something that's not going to help what you're looking for?
Mhm.
So we're looking at all these little things that people don't even see when they look at their Credit Karma. And
Right.
Credit Karma does have them up there, but most people have no idea what a DTI is.
Yeah.
And it
And
doesn't say debt to income. It just says DTI,
right.
or it says DLA. I've had many people call me over the years and they're like, I'm looking at my credit report. What does DLA mean? DLA means date of last activity.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important because that date of last activity starts the clock ticking on three things: removal from your report,
Mm-hmm.
the statute of limitations, and the value of the debt itself. All change based on DLA. So these things are actually really important, and that's why they're included even on the free credit reports, because it's information you need.
Exactly. And it's information that your credit repair specialist needs to take a look at. And that goes back to one of our very first questions, why you would have a credit repair specialist do this opposed to you doing this on your own.
Right. I
So,
mean, anyone I know in credit repair can read a credit report just as well as any mortgage expert can.
mm-hmm. Yep. If not more so sometimes.
Yeah, even more so because you're looking at things that they don't even look at. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking at the total picture. They're looking at just what applies to getting the mortgage.
Right. Yep.
All right. So I guess it's time for you to throw a
I
question at
am,
me.
yep. I'm
All
going to
right.
throw out
I'll do my
to
best.
you what Walter in Oregon asks. He asks, what can be removed from a credit report?
That's a really good question, Walter.
It's a
In
little
all honesty,
interesting too.
everything. But the fact is, what should be removed from a credit report?
Right.
So, Walter, I'm about to change your question so that you get the answer you're looking for. So, it's a really good question, and it's a question that everybody asks. And there's a lot of industries where everyone asks the wrong question to get the answer they're looking for. And I am not putting you down at all, Walter. It's an excellent question, but I'm going to amend your question so that you get the answer you're looking for.
Mhm.
So what should, not would, not what can, but what should you remove from your credit report? You do not want to remove accounts lightly because accounts contribute to your history. So you're not looking to remove accounts, you're looking to get them into the positive light. In order to do that, you want to look at an account's history, and you want to see if there are late payments in that history, and you want to see if there's any other negative things in the history of your account that can be tweaked. Number two, you want to look at inquiries. Inquiries can be removed pretty much rapidly and fairly. Inquiries never should have, I don't know how they got their start being a negative item. Inquiry should never have been a negative item, and why it is still beyond me. And the credit bureaus can't even tell me why an inquiry is a negative item. But inquiries can really do a lot of damage. In fact, from what I've seen lately, it's the number one damage to your score is usually too many inquiries.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
means that you have initiated obtaining credit somewhere. And whether you got the credit or not, the inquiry into your credit goes on your report, and it can literally hurt your score up to 2 to 5 points per inquiry, depending.
But at the same time, if you are being a diligent borrower and doing your research, you should have a couple of inquiries on your credit report to make sure you're doing your homework.
I was getting to that. Yep. That's another thing, though. The credit reporting bureaus are not really good at. There was a law signed back in 2003 when the bankruptcy rules changed that changed the way inquiries are calculated on your credit report. And that rule is supposed to work like this. It gets ignored 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the rule is if they see 9 inquiries from auto dealerships, they're only supposed to let one of them stay on. The rest are supposed to fall off because you're obviously shopping for a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Same for a home. If they see a lot of mortgage brokers pulling your credit one after another, they're only supposed to put one inquiry on your report. Unfortunately, they don't do this. Most of the time, they just let all these inquiries sit there. And before you know it, there's 50, 60 points off your credit just because you were being a good, solid shopper and looking for the best rate. That's not supposed to happen, which is,
Mm-hmm.
again, goes back to question one: why do you need a credit repair specialist? We know exactly what to tell them to get them to remove all the duplicates in one shot. It
Right.
rarely takes 2 disputes to remove inquiries. Inquiries are easy, and if the credit bureaus refuse, it's even easier to go to the company that placed the inquiry and have them withdraw it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you have to know exactly what to say and why you're saying it, and they will agree 99% of the time. So, Walter, what can be removed is any inaccuracy that is not correct, any history that is old enough to not be cared about anymore, any account that has been paid that you just don't want to see on there anymore can likely be removed. It doesn't need to be, it doesn't have to be, but if it's a paid account and not settled, I mean paid to a zero balance, normal paid, it can be removed, but you wouldn't want to remove that because it's good history and helping your score. But you asked what can be removed, those can usually be removed. What cannot be removed is any legitimate debt. Any collection activity that is from a legitimate debt cannot be removed. And I'm going to add something to our game. Any credit repair specialist who tells you, well, you don't have to pay the collection agency because you don't have a contract with them, number one, run the other way. Number two, make sure you fill out a police report that you were scammed,
Mm-hmm.
because the collection agency has more right than the original creditor to collect that debt. Not less, more. They have more legal right. They have more avenues to make the collection attempts than do the original creditors. So anyone who tells you, you don't have to pay they never pay another collection. Well, they're looking to wreck your life, credit wise. They're really going to do a lot of damage to your credit. So there you go, Walter. I'll let Kim fill in whatever I might have missed because I'm sure I missed something.
Well, yeah, let's elaborate a little bit on the person that tells me I had my bankruptcy removed from my credit report. I had all my late payments removed from my credit report, even though they were real and true. And my score increased 50 points because the credit repair specialist did that. My first question was, how long ago did this happen? Oh, it just happened a month ago.
They'll never tell you more than 2 months ago.
Well, I'm going to tell them, let me know what happens next month and the third month from now. Because like you mentioned earlier, that if they're legitimate things on your credit report, they are going to go back onto your credit report. They may fall off for a period of time, but they are going to catch up with you and they will be put back on your credit report. So it's errors, inaccuracies that can be removed from your credit report, because the others, they'll pop up again.
Oh, they'll come back. Yep. Yep. I was going to make a very bad pun and I'm going to let it go. But yeah, just because it seems like it cleared up doesn't mean it's gone. Like when a doctor gives you an antibiotic for an infection, you take it for 2 days. They gave you 7 days worth. You take it for 2 days, you feel better. You're like, oh, it's all gone. I'm going to stop taking it. And then a week later, it's worse than it was before you started because now it's antibiotic resistant because you've given it a taste of the antibiotics. You didn't kill it. Same thing goes with here. Let's play this game. Let's do this. Let's give a scenario. I'm about to become Citibank. I'm no longer Adam Strum. I am Citibank. Gimme. No. I'm Citibank. And a dispute letter comes in. Kim has this late payment in July on her Citibank account. I don't have time right now to go check whether or not it was actually late. So I just say, hey, we said it was late. It was probably late. I confirm that it's late. First letter, dispute, creditor confirms late payment. Second letter goes out with quote unquote proof. Okay, maybe a bank statement showing a payment. Just because your bank statement shows a payment doesn't mean it hit before the due date. But they'll accept that. And they're going to correct it. Wonderful. Citibank reports to the credit bureaus every 90 days. I know this for a fact. Every 90 days, their computer, not a person, their computer dumps all of its information to the 3 credit bureaus, which means that 90 days after it's taken off, it's going right back on because Citi in their database that's dumping into the credit bureau's system is going to show that late payment again. And you just paid a credit repair specialist $100 or $200 for what you thought they did, but what they did was simply put a Band-Aid on something that needed stitches. And so it's bleeding again. You're back where you started and you're out the $200 you paid the credit repair specialist. I think we've answered Walter's question in great detail there.
Yep, exactly. And it kind of bleeds into Alice in Missouri. And
Alice in
actually,
Missouri.
yes,
Well,
Alice in Missouri.
I'm going to ask you, Alice in Missouri, because you gave me Walter. So here comes the fun. This is the final question of the day. Why do I have inaccurate information on my credit report in the first place? Which is the best question of the day, by the way. Alice, you win for best question.
Well, there are a lot of reasons why you could have inaccurate information on your credit report.
I think I can think of about 20.
That's all.
Well, I wasn't
And
trying, but
Adam mentioned at the very beginning that 8 out of 10 credit reports have errors on them, no matter what it is, whether it be the account doesn't belong to somebody, the balance is wrong, late information is wrong, whatever the case may be. But also, not all lenders report to all credit bureaus, or not all bureaus pull information from every lender. So that's another reason why you'll see some things on Credit Karma, which we already know is outdated information. You'll have a TransUnion score and you'll have an Equifax score. And typically those scores will never, ever match. And then you throw an Experian in there and you might not have any information from Experian at all,
right.
because 8 out of 10 reports have errors on them. And it just depends on what information is being reported to the credit bureaus, whether it be erroneous social security numbers, accounts belonging to different people being reported on somebody else's credit report,
There's a
things
lot of
like that.
same name issues I've seen in the past where someone with the same name and a social that's similar but not
Mhm,
exact,
mhm.
sometimes they'll end up placing it on the wrong report. Inaccuracies happen quite often because of all this, because there are 350 million people in America.
Also, a lot of juniors and seniors and first, second, thirds added to your name. That can happen quite often as well.
Yep, yep. Because they're similar, the computer is not a person and it doesn't necessarily discern these little things like junior on the end, or the three eyes that make up the third, or
Mhm,
and so
mhm,
that happens quite often. And in fact, there have been some really major court battles over the fact that sometimes when your name matches and the social gets confused, one woman had a 13-year court battle to get someone else's stuff off her credit report that
mhm,
wasn't hers. And they just kept confirming it because in their system, the name and social matched and they were not letting up, despite the fact that it was incorrect information. And
mhm,
her lawyer, oh my gosh, in the end, it actually cost the credit bureaus almost $300,000 in legal fees because they lost their case. But this poor woman for 13 years could not get her credit restored simply because they refused to entertain the fact that they had the wrong information.
mhm. We had a similar issue with my husband. His name is the same as his dad, Louis A. Cruz, but they have different middle names. But it's still Louis A. Cruz, so there was a big mix-up on line items on both of their reports.
Oh,
So,
fun. Lots of
mm-hmm,
fun.
mm-hmm,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh. Well, that pretty much sums up the answer. There are inaccuracies because when you have 350 million of anything, there's going to be mix ups. There's no way to avoid it. I mean, it's just too much data going in, even to the best computer on the planet. That much data, there's going to be mess ups.
yep.
And as much as I want to say hold the credit bureaus to the fire, yes and no. I mean, there are avenues and there are credit repair specialists like Kim. Kim is one of the best in her field. Kiana is amazing in the field as well. If you're from the East Coast, I'd recommend you to Kiana because she's on your time zone. It'll be easier to
Mm-hmm,
contact her.
mm-hmm,
But if you're on the West Coast or you're in Mountain Time, there's no one better. No one's going to care more about getting what you're trying to get done than Kim.
mm-hmm.
And I don't say that because she's my co-host. I say that because I know she does incredible work. That being the case, not being said, but that being the case, let's wrap this up with just a little bit more about the credit report because it's been abused. It's gotten
Yes.
to the point where credit reports are being used for things they were never meant to be used for.
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm,
original reason for credit reports was for home buying only. That was the only purpose they served.
Mhm.
Because when credit reports began in the 50s, there were no credit cards.
Right. Mhm.
Not the way we know them now. There were specific credit accounts, charge accounts as they called them,
Right.
mostly with stores directly, not through a universal card.
Exactly. Their internal books would keep
Right.
the.
Right. And it was very different. And they would report to the credit bureaus even back then,
Mhm.
but it was structured very differently. And the damage that could be done off one late payment was very minimal in comparison to today. Today, they want everyone to be perfect, and perfect is a concept, not a reality. So nobody's ever going to match up to perfect.
Right.
So what we have is we have a credit report, and all it is a snapshot of your financial life right this minute.
Mhm.
That's all it really is.
Mhm.
And yet, we have employers that look at your credit report and think somehow you're not fit to be in their company because your score might be a little low. That doesn't make any sense to me. We have landlords who don't want to rent to people who are able to demonstrate they can definitely pay their rent, but their credit score is low. Your
Right.
credit score can be low for a lot of different reasons. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you don't pay your bills just because your credit score is low. If you have no credit, you've never had a credit card, you're going to have a low credit score.
Mhm.
Um, if you have a lot of inquiries, even though you may have paid all three of your credit accounts on time every time, but then you went shopping for a car and you decided not to buy one, you now have 20, 30 inquiries on your credit report. Boom, you're going to have a 480,
Right.
520, a very low credit, and you won't be
Right.
able to get a rental apartment, even though you've
Mhm.
always paid every bill on time.
Mhm.
It was never meant for these purposes, and it's being used for security clearances. Now, I totally understand the reasoning behind it. So I don't need the military coming and screaming at me. We need to know if somebody's compromised. I get it. I get
Right.
it.
Right.
But you can't just look at the score. If you want to know if somebody's compromised, you need to look at the report. You're
Mhm.
in the US military. I'm sure you could be granted access to the credit report.
Mhm.
26 inquiries is not a security clearance issue.
Right. Right.
Not paying the bills, that could be a security clearance issue.
Your credit report doesn't define you. And one of the sayings that you say all the time is life happens. And
It's my motto.
there needs to be an explanation available. And it's not just that report or that number that you're looking at. There's a story behind it. And we need to consider what that story is. But bottom line is that credit is not discussed in school. Credit is not taught in school. People don't understand credit or matters of credit until they get themselves into a financial situation that is a negative situation. And I started creating a list of all of the things that I was teaching my clients to help them either um, fix, protect, or maintain their credit report. That's why I created the book, the ebook that I have, 99 Financial Literacy Points You Should Have Been Taught, because these are just 99 basic things regarding credit that you can purchase right here
Yes, you
on my
can,
ebook tab.
and it is an incredible ebook. It is, you know how people call dramas and adventures riveting. If you want to understand credit and your credit report better, it is riveting. It really is.
Mhm,
It's a great
mhm.
ebook. It's very informative. Once you have it forever. I
Right.
highly recommend. It's not expensive. But if you
No.
want to know more about your credit and why it is where it is and how to improve it yourself,
Mhm.
grab Kim's ebook. It's amazing.
It's filled with sample letters that you can use. Just plug in your name, your situation, the
Kim,
creditor that you're dealing with.
I want people to know there's help out there that is not a scam. Not every debt relief specialist, not every credit repair specialist is a scam. Some of us do have a code of ethics. So I've said it on this show and I'll say it again, and I'm going to make it really clear. Without my staff, I am absolutely nothing.
Right. Yes.
Without the incredible staff of Rhonda, John, Suzanne, Isa, who's a partner but still part of the
Mhm,
staff,
mhm.
Michael, yourself, without all the resources in my at USFA in my alliance, on my own, I would make maybe 1/10 of what I make now.
Yes, which
I
is
don't
the
pay
same
myself much
as
to
me.
begin with.
Without my resources, I can't offer the services that my clients need.
Yeah.
Well, we need to bring this back in. Well, I can relate. I can appreciate that. But we've covered an excellent topic today. It's much needed information. There's so much about credit repair that can be relayed. So
I very much say anyone who's looking to improve their credit through credit repair, get your free consultation.
Yep,
Because
absolutely.
it's not what you think it's going to be. In your
No,
head, you have
no,
this idea of what it's going to be, and it's not going to be what you think. It's going to be a line by line conversation about what's on your report and what can be done to make it better. That's what it's about. The same goes for debt relief. You know, everyone has this conception of what it's going to be. And I have an appointment later today with someone. All I'm going to be doing is going over with them all their debt, what it should resolve for, and how they can make it happen over a period of time. It's not a third degree. It's not, you under these big lights with a guy offering you a cup of coffee. It's not an inquisition. We're not questioning you at the police precinct, and you're not going to pay $1 million. In fact, both credit repair and debt relief should cost you literally nothing in the
exactly.
value you get for what you're doing.
Yes.
For instance, in debt relief, I've had people say to me, and we covered this with Tom very, very quickly. It was glossed over. But I've had people say to me, they come to me with $50,000 in debt. And so I tell them, with all the fees included and everything else, based on your hardship, you're going to probably have to pay about $37,000.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's way too expensive. You just said you owed 50. You're about to save $13,000. Well, how much of that is your fee? $36,999.99.
Mm-hmm.
What difference does that make? You save the same $13,000.
Right.
You're asking the wrong questions, like Walter in today's show.
Mm-hmm.
What you should be asking is, how am I going to only have to pay $37,000? And that gives me a chance to explain how the system works. But
Right.
instead, you're asking how much I make. What difference does it make what I make?
Right. Yeah.
What I make's unimportant.
It's not relevant.
Right. Will your debts be paid? Will you be free and clear of them permanently? Yes. What I make is irrelevant. You're saving $13,000 and all of your debt gets resolved.
Right.
They come to you. How much do you make? Well, let's see, after cost, because I have to mail out letters and I have to do this electronic thing and I have to pay for access and the license and this and that and the
Mm-hmm.
other. So when I charge you $100, maybe I make $22 to $23, but why does it matter?
Exactly.
Did the item get corrected at the credit bureau? Is your score 50 points higher? Will you now get a loan at a much lower interest rate that saves you much more than the $100 you paid?
Yeah, there's so much more that goes into it. And a big takeaway for my audience is this doesn't define you. So no matter what your situation is, contact me, contact Adam. Let's talk about what's going on with you, and let's get you on the right path to cruising into a better financial future. So
never let your credit, your job, your education level, never let any of that define you, because you're more than all of that combined. Everyone is.
So we're here to help. We're here to help, and we want to hear your questions. And our questions come into questions at cruising into a better financial future. That's questions at CRUZIN into a better financial future.
And we're here to help. Like Zorro.
Exactly.
And a toll-free number for me, for Kim, our direct lines, our email addresses. I put them in the comments every week to make sure you have them. Give us a call. Ask us a question. We've gotten hundreds of them. Don't be shy. We're not. You should know by now, after 7 episodes, I am not a shy person. There's no reason to be shy with me. I don't berate anybody, even if they're wrong. Don't be afraid. Join us. Talk to us. We want to talk to all of you.
Yep. So with that, we will see you next week.
Thank you for being a part of Cruising into a Better Financial Future. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. We'll see you next time. Bye.